Got my gear on. I don't have any sunflower seeds right now. I don't have any kvass or beer or anything that would help me look more Soviet at the moment. And I'm not wearing that police hat because I'm just not into it right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I left a really cryptic post on the community post the other day. A post that I don't even understand myself. And that's why we're going to try to decipher it, me and you. That's right. I don't even know what I meant when I said it. So, wow, look at that. 5 people immediately here. That's incredible. And we even have infinite corridors. Yes, I did notice your channel, by the way. And I'm very happy you're making videos. And I'm actually going to spread your channel, Infinite Corridors. And you said you've been feeling the cosmic abandonment recently pretty heavy. So have I. So have I. I'm glad you brought that up. How have I been, Loyalty? Hey, Jack, what's up? I've been really weird. Extremely neutral. I don't really have my mind has been in such a state where it's a very hard thing to describe, where there's like this simultaneous heaviness and burden, but at the same time there is a level of understanding and purity to whatever's been developing in my mind. And I've been getting glimpses of insights and epiphanies and visions. They would come through here and there, but nothing compared to, what was going on a few months back when I was just getting download after download, where I would share about various different topics about the ancient past. Now it's quieted down almost to a grinding halt. And this includes my dreams. Any dreams which I do have, I almost immediately forget when I wake up. However, everyone around me has been having strange dreams, including people saying that they've been seeing me in their dreams. Aurora, some of you know her, and others, my wife, other friends of mine have been telling me about their very strange, vivid dreams. I myself have had some, and then I forget them immediately, which is not like me at all. And it's unfortunate. Hey, I did find a musician to play with finally, though. So it's kind of weird, actually, how it turned out. This guy is also Russian, grew up in New York. He's fully Jewish. I mean, I'm not, but he is. And he even looks like me. And he plays music. He has some really interesting music, too, with some very weird time signatures and complex prog rock type stuff. And I don't know why I'm bringing him up right now, but I just thought it was like a weird synchronicity, because he was like one of those people that the moment I saw him, even though I've never met him before, I felt like I knew him my whole life. And we kind of met out of nowhere, actually. And that's a rare synchronicity. There's only been a handful of people throughout my life where I saw them and I felt like I knew them. This is one of them. So Infinite Corridors, you're saying, same here. I have basically zero dream recall recently and drastically manipulated dreams. Yeah, dream experiences, it's utter nonsense. You know what I'm getting the sense of, actually, since you mentioned manipulated? Do you feel like when you are dreaming, you sense a sort of distortion, like almost like a vortex in your dreams, because that's the only thing I can recall. A sort of spiral or vortex, a funnel or tunnel like effect. And I would just wake up and it would just be bam. I had a dream that me and ABUN, what does that word mean? Loyalty. And Jack says, recently I've made a shift in my thinking to a belief in eternal hell. I know it is something you disagree with, but I've had visions of terrible evil, and I think it can't go unpunished. Well, it, I I don't necessarily disagree either. Most of my viewers here know I've had a hellish out of body experience, and my time spent in that realm was absolutely hellish and felt eternal. It was absolutely timeless. It felt like I was stuck there. Um, but the only difference is with me as opposed to, I don't know, conventional Christian beliefs. I just think that that timelessness is sort of an illusion, and all souls eventually do break free from that. But while you're there, it absolutely feels like you're completely stuck in an infinite void and you can't get out. No doubt about it. A bunch of people were trying to climb up this rope ladder. Oh, huh. Interesting synchronicity there, actually, because I just watched the show where exactly that scenario happened, and I've had a lot of things like that last couple of weeks where people would describe to me something like what you just did, loyalty, and then I would be like, oh, well, I just saw that in a show. And that's just how bizarre and streamlined this reality is, this Mandela affected realm. Okay, this is going to sound weird, but it's almost like you wake up every day and every day has like a new software code that they embed into the infrastructure of this reality to sort of ensure or guarantee a specific type of synchronicity or experience that you must have that day for whatever bizarre reason, experimental or whatever it might be. But with the difference between our current reality as opposed to what we deem the older Earth, it's like you wake up, you sense a specific type of frequency, and you already intuitively know how this day is going to go throughout the day. And 99% of the time, I'm right. At the end of the day, I'm like, yep, I sort of followed along that frequency, and it's exactly how I expected it to happen. Where, as opposed to on the old Earth, there was none of that. I don't like. There's none of that at all. I think people we knew in past lives are showing up in our awake hours. Oh, interesting, Mackenzie. That is a really interesting idea, and I think you definitely could be right about that. Um, and not necessarily, I would say, in our past lives, but maybe from our future lives too, or from our soul family as well, maybe. Well, like I said about this musician that I found, right? I don't know. I mean, I can't claim I knew him in a past life, but it certainly feels like I have, right? And that sort of encounter wasn't accidental, not by any means. Um, Someone close to me was able to climb up the ladder and was trying to guide me through it. Interesting. So you're climbing Jacob's ladder then? Or there's a lot of ladder symbology in esoteric mysticism in general, or steps, right? Steps representing different facets of human behavior or consciousness or actions, and the lower steps and the higher steps, and the differentiation between those. Interesting. Loyalty, very interesting. Yeah, tunnel effect for sure. I got sucked into a white light tunnel in the dream last week against my will. Nothing I could do to stop it. and at the last second I got ejected out. That is surreal. And interesting, you mentioning a white light. I've been having a lot of visions and inputs into my mind of aliens lately, specifically a queen, or like a queen bee type of situation, like the movie Alien, just pumping out endless amounts of aliens through her, what are pupa or whatever they call them. And I just keep seeing this like queen alien in my mind. Have been for quite a while now. And why, I don't know. And I've actually talked about this months ago, and it's returned now. This creepy, it's like praying mantis looking queen has returned to my brain. I hope everyone breaks free from hell, but I think it is impossible to know for sure until we cross over to the other side. Yeah, Jack. Well, that's absolutely right, because none of us knows the exact truth. Emily Moyer's here. Speaking of synchronicity, Emily, I knew you were going to be here. I absolutely was certain of it. I knew you were going to be here. I love it. Yeah, but Jack, absolutely. None of us knows exactly what's going on here. Friendly vampire dreams last night. Why do I have these? Vampires are really interesting in general. I think vampires are associated with cannibalism, to be honest. Instead of just focusing on blood, there's a cannibalistic component to vampirism. Jack says, I had the most realistic dream recently that someone showed up at my door and shot me 3 times. I felt so real. I shocked. Jack, I had those dreams. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had many dreams in which I was shot and stabbed. It's been a while, but growing up, especially like in my teenage years, I had so many dreams of being shot and stabbed. And I know what you mean. You feel like the metal piercing through your body, right? You feel those bullets just ripping through your organs. I felt it too. I know exactly what you mean. And then with the knife, like in a dream, you like feel the blade going into it. So surreal. So Rabbit City just got in love when you go live. What are we talking about? Rabbit City, we're talking about whatever we feel like. You know what I mean? It's like I have zero plans. I was super busy all day, and I'm like, you know what? I have no clue what to talk about. Let's just go live and whatever. And now we're here. Congratulations. However, there is one specific thing that I shared in my community post about cosmic abandonment. It's funny. I'm looking on my phone. It shows me that I'm live now. It's just kind of weird to see that. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, where is it? I'm just gonna find it real quick. Okay, I did find it in the community posts. But let's read some more comments here first. The AI that runs this inversion mirror dimension, I think, is what you're speaking about. I get the artificial synchronicities every single day. I try to consciously avoid them and run into them anyway. Yeah, I get it. It's kind of like following the White Rabbit Infinite Corridors. Pedgo 2 comes to mind for some reason, even though it's about the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. That White Rabbit in that cartoon, the way it's lit up in that classroom, it hypnotizes the viewer to take an exit to this bizarre, streamlined, computerized, synchronistic way of being. And remember how we were talking about the butterfly effect not too long ago? And suppose that if they can create these artificial synchronicities, you sort of subconsciously steer yourself in a direction that the controllers want you to go in, as opposed to your own path. And that's a creepy thought because, of course, I'm with you right there, and I don't want to avoid that and run like hell too. But I think that is a very real possibility of what's taking place is that we're following Alice in Wonderland and the White Rabbit, not necessarily into something totally technological either. We're talking about something that could be very mystical, um, an occult sort of idea of, or the controller's idea of what they think they want to present to us. Like, for example, Horus, the arrival of Horus. Maybe that's what this is about, actually. This sort of following or following him through the underworld on the boat of Anubis as we follow him in his sleep or his state of suspended animation. We then, quote unquote, awaken with him together in this new realm that they created. Possible. I want to be more positive than that because that's a creepy thought, but I had to throw that out there. I definitely was a yogi in the past due to me being able to do certain things I have had no training or practice in. I get that. I've had dreams like that as well, where I had, quote unquote, like supernatural abilities or a really sharp mind that was able to focus intensely something I can't seem to be able to succeed in here, unfortunately, at least not yet. But I am trying, okay? I am. And what did I say the other day? Every time I try, I get swarmed by hordes of people or noises or just something that's just like screeching in my ear, no matter where I go or what I do. Fortunately, now there's some peace because my wife and brother and sister-in-law and all of them who were visiting from Florida, they went out somewhere. So I'm with you guys. Hey, Emily. Me and Emily are gonna have a chat soon, isn't that right? I hope so, because it's been a while. Rabbit City, you say, my realistic dream was finding secret rooms in a home I've been in many times in the past in my dreams. Wow. What do you think the home is or was? Or do you think it's like a representation of something instead of actually being like a physical home? Or my question to you is that do you think that it's actually literally some home you might know in the past life, future life, afterlife? I don't know, whatever the case may be. Maybe your upbringing, even. And see if there's some connections there. Or, like a house could be symbolic of your mind too. It could be the inner workings of your own mind. And that house is actually your brain or your thought processes. And it'd be interesting for you to share what you see inside the house, if there are any details that you can share with us that might kind of uncover this puzzle. But that's super interesting, actually. And I don't know if you ever heard of the back rooms phenomenon, but it's just a channel, but it's a really weird YouTube channel where they send you through this maze of rooms, and it's like super realistic, and it makes no sense, but it has this weird effect on your mind. It's called the back rooms. Emily Moyer agrees that cannibalism and vampirism, yes, there's definitely a connection there. I've had a torture dream. The craziest was getting chains and being pulled apart by two trucks. Yep, I feel you. I hear you loud and clear. I not only had dreams of absolute horrors inflicted upon me, but almost like a PTSD, like remembering, let's just call them daydreams, where I would just be like spacing out and I would have something completely horrifying happen and if it would feel like a really real memory, and then I would just like snap out of it. And it used to really bother me. Okay, like a few years back, I don't know, 2014, 15, I can't give you an exact year, but there were times when I would literally have panic attacks and PTSD like symptoms from these daydream scenarios of what you would just call torture dreams or whatever, right? And these were like daydreams, though, okay? And they were really, it was legitimately traumatic. And then real nightly dreams as well. So those as well, yes. So I hear you there. What is cosmic abandonment exactly, Jack? Oh, I'm glad you asked. That is so unfair. Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I don't remember your name with the Chinese characters. I just saw your comment before I started the live stream, and I haven't seen you in a while, so I was about to reply, and I'm like, I gotta start the stream. But I'm glad you're here. Um, I'm gonna have to answer what Jack very rightfully asked. What is cosmic abandonment? Hey, Kate the Great. Cosmic abandonment is just the sense of okay, we come from like a unified state, right? The eternal singularity, where all we know is love and light and peace and truth, and it's all we know, right? Like we don't know duality, right? I guess we call this duality. And from that state, we were born into this fractured world. And because of that, because we're now splintered or like split from our natural self, and our natural self being pure love, right? Made out of the same essence that God is, to now we're sort of almost synchronized with like a darker mirror version of self, or I don't know, sin. I don't know what you want to call it, but its duality is what it actually is. And that sense of aloneness in the universe, that sense of being abandoned from God, that's what cosmic abandonment means to me. Like, we're here, there's no limits to horror, there's no limits to chaos. They could launch nukes tomorrow, and I really doubt aliens would stop anything. That's just my opinion. Um, there's always a threat of some kind of disaster, and that sort of fear pumping is cosmic. Is that is the purest essence of cosmic abandonment, because our reaction to that fear is what actually escalates the chaos even more. Um, it's really deeply psychological, but fear. This kind of sounds cliche. I know I'm sounding a bit new agey right now, but fear plus fear literally equals more fear, and we're just sort of running around like a bunch of scared children, and that's why I made this quote here. And let me read it, actually, for those of you that didn't see it in the community post. But let me just read a couple of more comments, though. You guys are really going at it with the comments today, and I'm glad you're participating. I've been seeing more mass people lately, and it pisses me off. And so have I, loyalty. So have I, by the way. And it pisses me off because I feel like they're going to try to enforce having to wear them again. I absolutely refuse to go through that nonsense. I don't think they'll succeed this time, to be honest. I mean, we'll see. I don't think they will, though, because just think about it. 2 years ago, we had people put lines in grocery stores for you to follow a line, and then the person can't cross paths with you. And nobody thought how absolutely stupid this was, right? And it's like we were hypnotized, and like, not us, I'm talking about the general public, but even the general public is now realizing, wow, we actually put arrows in grocery stores to separate ourselves. That makes no sense, pandemic or not. I hope you're wrong, Loyalty. Um, you're in LA last week of October. Oh, good. That's that is approximately when I was going to go to LA next, was around the end of October, beginning of November. So glad we have that synchronicity right there. Definitely let me know. Oh, I didn't even realize you wanted to meet in person. I thought you meant just talk like through this or something. Chris, hi Chris, hi Daniel and everyone. Does anyone else feel like there's a practical joker element at the core of this particular reality? Some of the stuff that goes on here reminds me of the old TV prank shows. Yes. Oh man, you just brought up such a great point. Yeah, I definitely think there is a practical joke element to this reality. It sort of lines up with some of these ridiculous synchronicities that we get. Some of them are really stupid, okay, and they kind of bother me a bit, to be honest. And they feel like practical jokes, and I know exactly what shows you're talking about. That was like the stupidest time in TV history. Was like 2001 to like 2007 was like this just cesspool of garbage on TV and a lot of that. So interesting. Infinite Corridors, you said, you mentioned the mantids. I've had over a dozen experiences where I snap from a dream into my etheric body and I see them manipulating my body energy. I try to grab their throat and they ran away. Wow. There is another synchronicity right there. Interesting how we're all connected, right? Um, Emily, Dan, and Infinite Corridors are all here. I was watching all of your videos this morning. Oh, yeah, it is great. And I almost didn't do the stream. And look at this. We got like everybody here. This is fantastic. Longstar, you said he had horrible dreams that continue after I wake up with entities in my room. I've had horrible daydreams as well. I have daydream things and then they actually happen. I've had that happen before as well. Or I mentioned this before where I would dream and then 3 years later, like it would happen. But then I would remember that I dreamed that 3 years ago. It's so absolutely freaking bizarre. And look at how many people are having these crazy, horrible dreams lately. That is definitely a concern. And again, I already mentioned this, but with me, I am having crazy dreams too, but I can't seem to remember them or recall anything that happens except for these strange vortex spirals or some kind of almost like a hypnotic wheel I would see. Um, Mercury is the trickster, D. Zerta says. Oh, well, wonderful. So, of course, there's definitely an astrological component to us. We can't forget about astrology. So, I appreciate you bringing this up. I've had those daydream panic attacks with large trucks and helicopters. Wow. Interesting how those specific things are connected to that. Oh, man. So, Loyalty, you said you hate ripping cloth because it reminds me of a repressed past life memory around the time of the Crusades. And to this day, I don't like the Red Cross. You know what? That's funny you bring that up. Every time I think about like the Knights Templar or the Crusades or something from that time period as well, it also really bothers me. So interesting that you brought that up. And then Rabbit City, you're mentioning your home there. It says, similar to an 1800s home my grandmother owned in Wisconsin. Okay. So we have a connection there to your relatives, at least. Interesting. Kate the Great says, I think the knowledge of gnosis of where we came from is all we need. But then again, yeah. All right, guys, I'll try to get back to the comments here, but Let me read this, and my hope is that you can decipher what I meant, since I myself don't really understand this. Oh, I'm looking at that scammer again. Oh, I had 4 more of them today, by the way. It's insane. I'm clearly being targeted. I don't see any other. There's just too many of them for it to be logical. It just makes no sense. Um, all these strange messages. And I had a person message me and say, total stranger, they said, "You are a very interesting person." And the account looked Chinese, um, Mandarin written everywhere. And I respond by, "Who are you? And how do you know that?" No response yet. But apparently, this stranger thinks I'm an interesting person. Okay, so because of the illusion of cosmic abandonment, we cling on to other people, grabbing anyone we can in the hopes they would ignite the spark of God within us. It's based on fear, the illusion of abandonment. The illusion that we are alone on a rock in a black void is just an illusion. We spend so much time searching and yearning for divine radiance within others, it reaches a point to where it becomes parasitic. Then it all falls apart. If everyone remembered their divine radiance within, then nobody would have to search for anything or grab onto anyone. The human race is like a scared infant begging for the mother's breast milk, but the infant is becoming a toddler, and the toddler needs to start letting go and doing things on its own. Okay, I kind of get it actually. So I know what I meant when I said that grabbing on to others. What does this include? This includes, I don't want to name names. I'll just give an example. The Bluebird people and a guy named David with a last name I won't say. Not that I have anything against them. I'm just giving examples here. Clinging on to ideas, but not just those kind of ideas. I'm talking about ideologies, right? Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, Putin. What does Putin want to do? Oh, he wants the glory of the Soviet Union to return, right? Or whatever the hell. And why would he be rallying his people? And why would he want to lead them into a new Soviet Union? Because the masses are clinging on to him like a bunch of little infants, like they did with all the dictators in the past, in the hopes that he would show them the way to the light, right? The whole point is that we're afraid to lead ourselves. That's kind of the message I was trying to convey in that post, is that we're afraid to lead ourselves. I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about the collective. And 2020 was the perfect representation of that, actually. Where instead of discerning and being proactive and engaging in our own leadership, we cling on to the breast milk of mommy because we're afraid. And that's sort of the root of cosmic abandonment. We don't want to let go. Anyway, let's get back to the comments. Okay. Okay, so Emily said you did mean a regular talk, but I was just saying we could do it while I was there. Picked up a side hustle, so I've been super busy, but maybe we can get together if you're coming up to LA. Yes, we absolutely should. I think that would be a fabulous idea. I mean, we had a great time last time when you were here in San Diego, so why not? I have interacted with mantids. Oh, Misty's here. Hi. With the spirit molecule. Oh. Can you explain more by spirit molecule, please, Misty? My dreams haven't been negative, but what is strange seems like I'm going through tests or trials of some sort. Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. Like, I also shared that post, like, oh, you thought you went through that life lesson, but here it comes again. I think that is part of it, but that's also like a subversive tactic on your psyche as well. Um, because they intentionally throw things in your face to throw you off and to have you repeat the same mistakes. I'm convinced of it. And that's sort of part of these trials, I think, in my opinion, where um, they lure you in, they like hook you in with the same sorts of patterns. It's like old tricks, right? I had dreams of cabal mansions and facilities raided. I saw it from both perspectives. I haven't had them in a while. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, Allison, hi, how's it going? Yeah, I'm glad I'm reading it again too, because I do feel like there's definitely truth in there. Um, and but then again, like on the other hand, right? So we're quote unquote in the illusion of aloneness. I don't know what the word is in the universe. Would it be weird if imagine like if God was here the whole time and he could like speak to you in an auditory voice and show up to you at any time every single day? He's there, it, the light, whatever, and guiding you through every facet of your life. Would that be good? Because I don't know. That sounds kind of like a nightmare to me, to be honest. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing that we don't remember our past lives, for example, or something like that, because it would just be super annoying. I mean, it would be super annoying if like an angel showed up here every night and just like visibly showed up right there on this bed and said, okay, Dan, we're going to guide you through every step of your evolution. And we didn't like that you did this today. You ate too much pizza. You spent way too long in the shower. No, nope. You know what? We need to correct these things. What is a person going to do in that? They're going to rebel, probably, honestly. Maybe that's what this whole rebellion thing's about. Maybe God did guide evolution. And they're like, you know what? Leave us alone and let us do our own thing. It's an interesting thing to think about, as silly as it sounds. It's, uh-oh, somebody's here. It's just Dina, don't worry. The previous comment was 117 characters. Also dreams of running and hiding underground or in ruined cities, demons invading futuristic cities, assassination attempts on me. They feel very real. Remember, I know you saw my video, Longstar, of the Colosseum below ground, where I perceived to be like a Moloch or like a very tall demon character, and everybody was cheering, and there was elements of cannibalism. So I don't know why the moment you said that, that's exactly what that reminded me of. Underground, because it was definitely underground. The Blue Bird Man reminds me of Bill Murray. Hi. You want to say hi? Can you say hi, please? You never say hi, ever. She doesn't want to show her face. Why does she never? My son came here last time and said hi, but Dina doesn't want to come and say hi. Man. Anyway, Ellison, you said yes, Birdie, hitting the nail smack dab on the head. Absolutely terrified of the personal responsibility that leading yourself requires. Yeah. And you know what? Everyone is guilty of it to a certain degree. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm this amazing leader before you. I've, followed things before, especially like, my younger years. I was doing dumb things and following very bad crowds and doing stupid stuff. It's like, I'm not like this Alexander the Great sitting here either. I'm just saying And he wasn't that great either, by the way. He was terrible. Okay. DMT, Kate the Great. Interesting. Sounds good. I've got to run. All right, Emily. Take it easy. Spirit molecule. Oh, yeah. Spirit molecule, DMT. Okay, I get it now. I get it. Okay, makes sense. So, Jack, you said, I had a dream when I was a kid that I strongly felt was a vision. Everyone was wearing black, and we were forced to get on these dark underground trains to some hellish place. I think about it a lot. Underground trains. Now, that is pretty interesting. And that is not a pleasant thing to think about at all. For some reason, the first thing that came to mind when you said trains was concentration camps. I don't know why. But why am I mentioning the first thing that comes to mind to begin with? Because I think that more often than not, the first thing that does come to mind is often the correct one or the most accurate interpretation according to how I perceive things. So if I just blurt out the first thing that comes to mind, there might be a connection to what you're talking about, possibly. Hi, birdie. Yeah, I'm a birdie. I was considering that the artificial synchronicities getting intentionally placed on our daily paths are generated from astral etheric precognitive technologies. It feels precognitive to me anyway. Yeah, it does. You're right. Wow. I'm going to have to think about that one. That's pretty heavy, though. So we said trials in my dream, the event organizers, people pulling the strings on reality, insist that I was going too fast, getting to the end too quickly. So they kept throwing distractions to slow me. Okay, interesting. That's a component that I haven't thought about because what if that is true for some people? You're sort of running into a brick wall, right? And what if it's not necessarily like all nefarious and there's just entities or things in place that are just trying to like snap their fingers in your face to say, "Hey, what are you doing? You're about to run into a brick wall. You're on a train about to go off a cliff, and you need to slow down, buddy." Spirit molecule delayed, yeah, to mushrooms and ayahuasca. Oh, I know what DMT is. I never tried it, but I heard all kinds of interesting things about it. D asked me, would I trust that angel? Good question. It depends. It depends on the situation and the context. I don't like the word trust lately. For some reason, I just don't really trust a lot of things right now. So probably not right now. If that angel showed up, I would probably not trust it. Angel, you came. Thank you. I am almost done, but that's cool that you still came. Does it sound good? I don't know. I hope so. We had some incredible comments here today of people sharing some very interesting dreams and experiences. And we've just been talking about the personal strangeness we've been experiencing in this sort of, I don't know, let's call it a inner purgatory we've been in or something. I don't know what it is. It's and you know what? It doesn't feel diabolical, but it doesn't feel good either. Right? It's sort of like a neutral type of situation where you're sort of on the outside observing in and you're trying to discern like facets of your mind and break apart, maybe remove certain things and add other things, if that makes any sense. Wouldn't I rather have a humble woman? Well, I mean, sure, an angel could be woman, man, wouldn't matter to me really. I would not even acknowledge their presence, D says. I am at the point where I would not trust any entity. I don't blame you one bit, D. Not at all. Yeah, I want no part in anyone showing up and telling me what I need to do. Exactly. So even though there is a minus of this cosmic abandonment, right? There is a huge plus. And we talked about free will last time, right? But let's just pretend we do have free will for a minute. And at least we have like a sort of freedom of expression, right? And there isn't like something hovering over our heads. And you know what? Maybe there is. So there is the AI component to it that is hovering over our heads and bothering us every second of every day. But in general, like it's still not forcing you, right, to do anything. It's not like the computer or the magical AI is like coming up to you and be like, you must do this now or we'll throw you off a bridge. No, I mean, you still choose to go along with whatever's thrown your way, or at least it's the illusion of choice. I don't know anymore. I'm curious, have you heard about the Apophis asteroid? I'm on a very strange Earth, and just because I'm here doesn't mean any of you are there. No, it doesn't. We could each be in our individual planets, absolutely. I heard about it. Is that the supposedly the one where NASA knocked it out of course and it's and changed this trajectory or something like that? I didn't pay too much attention to that story, but it seemed strange to me too. Loyalty, it really did. I'm like, wow, we have the ability to do that supposedly. Great, I guess. Yeah, I used to Rabbit City. I used to watch a lot of Naughty Beavers stuff. Back in the day, though, like I'm talking about like 2017, 2016. I used to be really into him. Not for a while. I didn't even know he was still making videos, to be honest. But yeah, he definitely got pretty deep into some interesting stuff. Um, if he's still making videos, please let me know. I'll check it out. Oh, Angel, you're talking about my wife. I thought you were talking about angels. I thought Angel was talking about angels. I was like, who is she talking about not wanting to show my face? I was like, oh, right. Makes sense now. It's cool. I appreciate your humble. I won't show my face either. I'd show my face to any of you in person, but not on the internet. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's probably a good thing. Hate online showing your face too. Yeah, there's always a chance that the dark web or whatever is going to use somebody's face for their own advantage or whatever, right? There's always the possibility of that. Used to show my face a lot on YouTube, but I haven't made videos in a long time. I'm thinking of making a long video soon about the Antichrist. If you do make it, I'd love to see it. Actually, I'll be the first guy who watches it. On that note, let's finish up here in 5 minutes because yeah, I'm kind of starting to get a little bit brain dead right now, and I got some more stuff to do. So let's finish this up within 5 minutes. Any final thoughts, anyone, on our really strange discussion tonight? Any personal thoughts on cosmic abandonment and how ultimately it, to conclude, I think it feels like a negative, right? To have that sense of separation, which actually in some ways feels like it's growing, this sense of separation. But on the other hand, if we look at it like letting go of a letting go process and having to learn and grow on our own, If we look at it from that angle, then it changes it completely, because then you realize that the pain of that growth will eventually turn into something beautiful. So that's what I think. And eventually, regardless, we're going to return to God anyway, right? That is our destiny, to return to the infinite love and light. So we're not going to lose, right? It was popping. Really, it's popping. It seems like I have a good internet signal, so it should be working fine. But thanks for letting me know. In another dream, I was totally on my own and was fine. It was the end of the world in my dream. Oh wow, Angel, you think it's a good thing? Infinite Quarters, then thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, check out his channel. He talks about some very interesting things as well. Um, and on that note, y'all have a good night. Oh, popping just means it was good. I thought you meant like it was like, you know, if you feel pressure in your third eye and spinning, I'll do that. Thank you for the advice.